You are most welcome to our next lesson. We are still continuing with matrices. Today we shall be looking at how we get determinant of a 2 by 2 matrix. We consider a matrix B, which is A, B, C, D. The determinant of B is given by the product of elements in the major diagonal, that is A times D, minus the product of elements in the minor diagonal, that is B times C. So therefore determinant of B is given by AD minus BC, and generally the determinant of a matrix is given by the difference between the product of elements in the major diagonal and the product of elements in the minor diagonal. So we multiply the elements in the major and take away the product of elements in the minor. That's how we shall get the determinant of a 2 by 2 matrix. For instance, we are given matrix P, which is negative 1, 2, 0, 3. So we are supposed to find its determinant. Therefore, the determinant of matrix P will be given by the product of the elements of P in the major diagonal, which is negative 1 times 3 minus 2 times 0. So when we multiply negative 1 times 3 and take away 2 times 0, is the same as having negative 3 minus 0, which remains negative 3 as our determinant. So determinant of a matrix is given by the product of elements in the major minus the product of elements in the minor. That's how we get determinant. Then after looking at how we get determinant, let us also look at how we get the inverse of a matrix. The inverse of a matrix is given by 1 over determinant times the adjoint or adjunct matrix, and it is denoted by a matrix power negative 1. For instance, we consider matrix P, which is A, B, C, D. The inverse of P is denoted as P power negative 1, which is given by 1 over determinant of P times the adjoint or adjunct matrix of P. We've seen how we get determinant. Since our matrix P is A, B, C, D, therefore we multiply the elements in the major diagonal, which is A times D, minus the product of the elements in the minor diagonal, which is B times C. So the determinant of P is given by A times D minus B times C, which gives us AD minus BC. Then we look at how we get the adjunct or adjoint matrix. From matrix P, which is A, B, C, D, the adjoint is given by, we change the positions of the elements in the major, so that D goes up and A comes down. Then the elements in the minor diagonal change signs. They are all positives, therefore they become negatives. So that the adjoint of P is given by D will go up and A comes down. Then positive B becomes negative and positive C becomes negative. So this is how we get the adjunct or adjoint matrix. The elements in the major diagonal change positions. Those in the minor diagonal change signs to get the adjunct. And therefore, we come back to our inverse. The inverse is given by 1 over determinant times adjunct or adjoint matrix. We've seen how we get the determinant. We've seen how we get the adjoint. Therefore, you get 1 over the determinant times the adjoint to get the inverse. For instance, let's try out this. Have example. We are given that matrix A equals to 2, negative 1, 3, 0, and B is given by 1, 4, negative 2, negative 1, 4, 2, negative 1. So we are supposed to find the inverse of A, inverse of B, and then inverse of AB and A plus B. So inverse of A is given by 1 over determinant of A times the adjoint of A. So since this is our A, the determinant of A will be 2 times 0, that is the product of the elements in the major, minus negative 1 times 3, the product of elements in the minor, which gives us 0 minus minus 3, giving us a positive 3 as determinant. Then after getting the determinant, we look at how we get the adjoint. The adjoint will be, because A is given as 2, negative 1, 3, 0. So these two will change the positions to give us 0, 2. And those in the minor diagonal, which is negative 1, 3, change the signs. The negative become a positive and the positive become a negative, so that we get positive 1 and negative 3. So after getting the determinant and the adjoint, therefore the inverse of A will be 1 over 3 into 0, negative 3, 1, 2. You multiply a third by each, you end up with 0, that is negative 1, a third, and 2/3 as our inverse of A. So that is how we get inverse. Please, we meet next time.